All right, guys, for those wondering, and again, this is my first time seeing this game. This is a new trailer for Pioneer. It is an MMO game focused on your character's survival and exploration of the surrounding world. And it will be out next year. Let's take a look.
Tartarus, a miserable island overcome by disaster. Your depths hold rotten legacy of hopes we left there long ago. Now you are an open wound, infested and endangering life itself. That's where we will bring our people. We will follow our way to preserve everything still left. The expedition will carry on. Tartarus can be nominally divided into two parts. The left one is where people have established their settlements. New communities appear there, as well as new trade routes and conflicts. This is where the main storyline unfolds, and PvE locations are situated. You will start here. This part of Pioneer is an adventure game with minimum MMO elements. We put a lot of efforts in our level design and use the best practices of narrative in dialogues. Moreover, we've created a special game mode where other players cannot interfere with you or your party playing. Oh yes, quests can be completed single-handedly or with friends. You can even have a dialogue with an NPC as a party. Explore the regions and gather info about the world and its mysterious past. Rest in any of the settlements, spending time in bars or playing mini-games. Trade for resources and try to gather as much as you can. Pioneer has progression levels, and after each level up, you get one skill point to spend on upgrading your character. This can make playing easier, but without creating builds, you won't have that big of an advantage on the battlefield. Yes, your armor and weapons itself are quite more important. Upgrading and efficiently using your equipment is what actually shows your progress through the game.
I like the melee there. Unique looking weapons, man. Chat, I'm getting God, what was the game, man? What was the game? It's like set in Russia. Has a very similar aesthetic here, especially with the weaponry. Metro, dude. I am getting Metro vibes from this, but I guess an MMO Metro.
Just like certain monster slayer, a skillful character in Pioneer needs two guns, one for killing monsters and another for punishing teammates or, rarely, other players.
Okay, you already said for punishing teammates, so I guess it's safe to assume friendly fire is on.
And another for punishing teammates or, rarely, other players. You can enhance your weapons or modify your equipment on the workbench, but every step of it consumes resources. Weapons can be modified more comprehensively by upgrading a submachine gun to a machine gun, for example, or by just adding modules which increase your weapon stats on the move. Upgrading the most interesting and powerful equipment demands unique blueprints and resources. And that's the catch. The rarest of the loot can be found only on the right part of the island. The right part of the Pioneer Island consists of two regions, the Midlands and Shadowlands. These territories are home to PvPvE zones and clan wars. The gameplay here feels more like survival. Another player encountered here is likely to be an enemy, and the local creatures are decidedly more dangerous and ferocious.
Okay,
these
cool.
Two regions lack quests and are much less forgivable with regard to the players. You can lose all the resources you've spent time and effort gathering. At the same time, your death in a regular PvE zone will cost you just some polish on your equipment and a little bit of your pride.
Okay, so death in a regular PvP zone will cost very little in comparison to death in that open PvPvE zone, which is on the right side of the map, which, at least from what I'm getting here, you lose everything. So very much like an extraction looter shooter. but with much more dangerous PvE and PvP always on. Now, keep in mind that he mentions that the left side will be like more of the speed for a PvE only player. Like if you just want like adventure mode, doing PvE stuff, the narrative, all of that's going to take place on the PvE. It's only on that right side of the map, which does look to be the majority of the map. You see where his mouse cursor was just a second ago. That area all the way over to the right is going to be that entire area that will be PvE. Really doesn't sound like anything original. Here's the thing about that kind of thing. Like when you say original, okay, don't get me wrong. I would love original games, you know, new concepts being pushed forward here. You know what I mean? At the same time, if the looting aspects are good, if the stakes are high, if the gameplay and gunplay is really good, and if the narrative is somewhat interesting enough to where I'm like invested in the universe, you do those things, man, I'm in it. I'm involved. It doesn't have to be a new take every single time, you know? Sometimes we're looking for a game that just has extra polish on something that other games have attempted to do. Russian studio GFA games equals garbage. I don't know who the studio is here. Who's the studio? Pioneer first person action MMORPG. All right, they're just straight up, they're calling it MMORPG. I mean, if it has, you saw the skill menus and stuff. 10 cent bought a minority stake in GFA games. Oh, okay. All right, well, that changes things.
And a little bit of your pride. Your typical gameplay on the right part of the island looks something like this. You're gathering resources or joining your clan members to seize the production point. When you've gathered enough, you're trying to reach a safe zone using one of the suggested paths. Along the road, you're exploring some more unexplored places. Also, there are no guides on the right part of the island, so no fast travel for you. By the way, fast travel in Pioneer is possible with the help of the guides only. In addition to PvP, MMO fans will enjoy our raids and world bosses adapted to the realities of MMO FPS.
Dude, they're saying all the right things. I mean, just come out and say it. You're being a Destiny competitor right now with the splash of you know, extraction shooter in there, right? But just like an old school MMORPG would be, right? With gear that you would lose when you would die. But good God, they've got raids too, and they're also saying that it's going to be catered to FPS players.
After all, it would be fun to see how familiar activities look in unfamiliar conditions, wouldn't it? Pioneer is a unique experiment. The further you delve into the depth of the island, the more the game transforms, transitioning from a role-playing adventure to an intense survival experience. We'd love to tell you more, but unfortunately, we'll have to do it in due time.
Looks solid enough. All right, we'll see, guys. I'll try to sign up and see if we can get a game code to this. The reason why I say 10 cent being involved in this changes things. The game is going to ship is what I mean. I'm looking at this and I was like, okay, hopefully, because the day before it's kind of like scored me a bit, and I don't want us to be in another situation like this. But with 10 cent investing in this, I think we're going to get the game. Now, things that this game is going to have to do right, gameplay, like I said, all the things, the points I just made are going to have to really sell us. But the loot, one thing that Destiny has been able to do that other games outside of maybe Borderlands has not been able to nail is the loot. I think Remnant does a pretty good job too, but the loot is noticeably different. Like when you see a Izanagi's Burden or a Sunshot or a Wrist Runner activate, right? Or a Graviton Lance clear room, it is extremely noticeable to any player, new or veteran players. Like, wow, there's a drastic difference here in gameplay and your capabilities with these exotics, which makes all players covet those things. As far as the gameplay that I've seen here, I don't really see that separation in loot, which is a big driving factor for me in a looter. But we'll see. It could just be showing. They could just be showing off the most basic things right now. You know. The other thing is like, how big of an island is this actually? How big is the world, and how many people are we sharing the world? What is the server size? Yeah, we'll just have to look at that.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.